So Nandini, when is the speaker joining?
Ma'am, he will be joining really soon.
Ma'am, he'll join in a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Ritika, just let
Alright.
us know उनको ऐड करने से पहले ना, ठीक है? बाकी सबको आई गेस हम एंट्री दे देते हैं.
Nandini, I've made you and Ria co-host, and now I'll be admitting 17 people in the waiting room. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Just let us know when Paritosh is here, okay?
Has the speaker joined, Nandini?
Ma'am, not yet. I'll just check. Okay, ma'am, he's here. So let's just begin. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the KNC Business Conclave 2021. Here we commence the second day of our event, Spark Your Vision with Mr. Paritosh Anand. I request Shweta ma'am to take over.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So today we have Mr. Paritosh Anand for our first speaker session today. Let me start his introduction. He is a 22-year-old entrepreneur, public speaker, and content creator. He has won the trust of more than 160,000 people from all over the world who follow him while he preaches his message of running after one's dreams. He has delivered more than 50 keynote speeches throughout the country, including two TEDx and Ajos talks, and has also been featured in the Hindustan Times. He is the co-host of India's number one comedy podcast, Two Peas in a Pod, through which he and his brother aim to deliver value mixed with doses of unfiltered comedy. So we are obliged to have you today here, Mr. Paritosh. Without any further delays, over to you now.
Thank you very much for the beautiful introduction. Thank you very much. And first up, before we begin, all of you all are looking extremely adorable. Thank you for having me here. मुझ पे प्रेशर आ गया यार. इस समय मैं एक शर्ट पहन के बैठ गया हूँ फिलहाल यहाँ पे. आई डोंट इवन नो व्हाट आई एम वेयरिंग फ्रॉम बीनीथ इज अप्रोप्रिएट और नॉट, क्योंकि मैं ऊपर से तो शर्ट पहन लेता हूँ पर नीचे से फिलहाल I cannot, obviously, yes. But anyway, yes, thank you for the beautiful introduction. My name is Paritosh Anand. I'm 22 years old. I travel the world and I tell stories. And it's through these stories that I really want to inspire the world. I really want to empower the world. I want the world to run after their dreams. I want them to discover themselves even further. I want them to take that first step. That's what I do. I want to send a message out to the world. That no matter what happens in your life, professionally or personally, no matter what happens, no matter what low you hit, no matter how badly you fall down, there's always hope. There's always going to be that light which will guide you to the stage where you're born to shine, the stage where you're born to win, the stage where you're born to own, the stage where you're born to turn every single thing that you touch to gold. That's who I am. That's what I do. Professionally, as ma'am said as well, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I run two online businesses, We Smile Media, which is a digital content creation and a distribution agency, and Dream of the Defense, which is an online course that I curate for defense aspirants from all over the country. Apart from this, obviously, I'm a content creator for the world as well, the avenues of which I use for different purposes. But yes, this, what I'm going to talk about today is as scary as ever. इतना unpredictable मेरी girlfriend का mood नहीं है जितना unpredictable 2020 था. But now, as we're talking about it, let's see. If you all can switch your cameras on, it'll be much better, because this is I'll try to make this as interactive for you all as possible as well. Although, yes, thank you very much. Jitne ho sake, okay. So, how many of you all had a bad 2020? Bad 2020? Yes, decently bad. Okay. Now tell me, how many of you all have had a plan for 2020? किस का plan था कि यार कुछ तो करना है? How many of you all had a plan for 2020? Decently enough, yes, of course. Now, another question. How many of you all have invested a good amount of time in making or devising a plan for the next 10 years? कि 10 साल बाद मुझे क्या करना है, क्या बनना है, क्या सोचना है, मुझे क्या plan होगा, उसके बारे में किसने थोड़ा कुछ भी time invest करा है? Anyone? Yes, of course. Now, to everyone who raised their hands, this question applies to myself as well. To everyone who raised their hands, how are you so sure that you'll even be alive to implement on that plan that you've invested days and days into? 10 years from now, not talking about right now. How are you so sure that the plan that you've spent so much time thinking about in the present, you'll be alive to implement it or alive to execute it, especially after a year like 2020? Every one of us had plans for 2020. Everyone had something or the other planned. कि यार ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे, ये resolution, वो resolution. इस साल मैं जिम जाऊंगा, इस साल मैं गोवा जाऊंगा, इस साल मैं डाइटिंग करूंगा, इस साल मैं हिमाचल जाऊंगा, इस साल मैं ये पटाऊंगा, इस साल मैं वो करूंगा. But हुआ क्या? At the end of the day, सारे वादे, सारे resolutions, every bit of it turned to dust Now, here's the point that I'm trying to make. Listen to me carefully. We invest so much of our time thinking about the future, planning the future, that we let go of what we have, the present, which is the same with the past as well. We spend so much of our time repenting the past that we forget to live in the present. We, as of today, are either filled with the regret of the past or the worry of the future, rather than the will to take action in the present. We keep on thinking about the past कि यार ये अगर differently कर लेता तो क्या होती मेरी जिंदगी, काश ये ना हुआ होता मेरी जिंदगी में, काश ये भूल नहीं करी होती मैंने. We spend so much of our time regretting our decisions, regretting our choices, that we keep ourselves from acting upon them in the present, rather than learning from the mistakes, rather than introspecting upon what went wrong. We just keep on complaining and finding on excuses. And this is with everyone. This is with me as well. Rather than doing that, try to see your past as a page in the book of life. Try to see your past as a page that you'll have to build from. A page that you have written, and now one that you'll have to refer to while writing the current page. जब भी कोई किताब लिखते हो यार, like क्या होता है? You write, and then when you're writing the current page, you need to refer to what you've already written, and that is what the present is for you. That is what the past does for you. A page that you've written, and now one that you have to refer to while writing the present. A page that you'll have to learn from, a page that you'll have to build a perspective from, a page that you'll have to pick a direction from. That's the purpose that your past fulfills. If at all, the only thing that you need to learn from your past is, wait, हमारा भाई is मस्त भाई, पूरा चेयर चूज शिफ्ट करके बैठ चुके. चलो कोई बात नहीं, भाई सेटल हो गए. हेलो. Anyway, so yes, where was I? Yeah, as I was saying, if at all, the only thing that you need to do from your past is learn from what has happened, learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, learn from your downs, your breakdowns, every bit of what has made you who you are today. All of us have been through our part of struggles. Everyone has seen breakups, everyone has seen breakdowns, everyone has seen the worst of all stages in 2020, but you're still here. You're still here. You're still sitting here. You're still sitting here with the will to learn. You're still sitting here with the will to grow. You never chose to give up back then. No matter कि जितना भी अंदर से ख्याल आया हो तुम्हारा कि यार नहीं, अभी नहीं हो पाएगा मेरे से, अभी इससे आगे नहीं जा पाऊंगा मैं. Yet you never thought of giving up in that moment. No matter how worse that situation got for yourself, you never gave up in that situation. And that is what I'm here to tell you. That if you didn't give up back then, there's no point giving up now. Hence, live in the present. And likewise with the future as well. You don't have to waste so much of your time planning about the future. Of course, have goals, have dreams. That's very necessary, but only as long as they're not becoming hurdles between you and your actions in the present. If you keep on procrastinating about the future, you would only be wasting your time. Don't leave it up to fate. Don't leave it up to destiny. Shape your own destiny. अब तुम लोग बोलोगे कि पारितोष क्या बेफिजूल की बातें कर रहा है भाई? How can one shape their own destiny? Hear me out. Your present is a total outcome of the choices that you've made in the past. And your future will be a total outcome of the choices you make right now. So if at all you have a certain control over the choices, over life, it is in the present. It is in the choices that you make in the present. And that is what 2020 has taught us. It has taught us to live in the present. It has taught us to take actions in the present. It has taught us that we don't know what's coming tomorrow. We don't know what pandemic is going to come tomorrow. We never know that there was a second wave coming. We thought कि हाँ भी कॉलेज शुरू हो जाएंगे अभी, like none of us knew कि ये वाला event हमें अभी भी online बैठ के करना पड़ेगा. But we don't know. We don't know what's going to stop time in another 6 months. All we have is now, and now is all that matters. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we are open to questions, so I request everyone to write down their questions in the chat box. And over to you, Ria.
Yeah. Okay, so sir, the first question is that what do we do to understand our real goal?
See, I'll tell you something as simple as this. You need to experiment first. जब तक प्लेट में बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं होंगी ना, you won't know what to choose from. So gather things on your plate first. See where your interest lies, and in order to see where your interest lies, you need to experiment as much as possible. Especially in your college, the college is the best possible opportunity for you to put yourself out there, put your interest out there, put your time out there, invest time in doing the things that might or might not interest you, but it could yield you with something which could help you know कि हाँ यार यहाँ पे मेरा interest lie कर सकता है. ये ऐसे 2-3 चीजें ढूंढो. Try to invest more of your time in it. Try to see where your interest might lie, and then start studying more about it. Start learning more about it. That is how you get to know about your ultimate passion.
Okay, sir. So we have the second question which says, what do you want your audiences to remember from your presentation?
Live in the present. That was the entire consensus of my monologue as well. Live in the present. Seriously, I mean, like, there's nothing you can do about the past. If at all, as I said as well, if at all there's one role of your past, it is to teach you. And if at all there is one role of the future, it is to make you learn that you have to live in the present and make the right choices in the present. So yes, so present is all we have.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, how do you overcome setbacks and disappointments?
That's a beautiful question. See, I'll tell you what, this is a very, very, very wonderful question. And this is one part that all of us face. अब एक बात बताता हूँ, जब भी हमारी जिंदगी में सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा होता है ना, we never sit and question ourselves. जब भी जिंदगी में सब बढ़िया चल रहा है, like take a relationship with that song. रिलेशनशिप में सब बढ़िया चल रहा है, कोई किसी को क्वेश्चन करने की जरूरत नहीं है यार, बढ़िया चल रहा है, चलने दो, क्यों हम उंगली करें. But on the contrary, when things start going wrong, that is when we start questioning. We start questioning ourselves. We start questioning our significant others. The same goes with these phases in life as well. When life is going all good, जब सब कुछ चल रहा है, बढ़िया चंगा चल रहा है, उस समय किसी को खुद को क्वेश्चन करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है. But whenever we go through these phases, we get an opportunity to ask ourselves the right questions. कि यार, what is going wrong? Where am I going wrong? How could I correct it? How can I avoid this situation from coming back? So rather than treating this entire situation to be a setback, start training your mind to treat it to be a phase where you learn. Simply, नजरिए की बात है. जहां पे ये वाला नजरिया आ जाएगा, जहां पे ये perspective आ जाएगा, you'll start growing and start treating this phase very differently. That is how I personally have dealt with it for the past 2 years. That is how I've been trying to deal with it.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, what all should we do to understand our real goal?
As I said as well, you need to experiment as much as possibly can. See, until and unless you try different things out, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता ना कि हमने एक ही चीज कोई ट्राई करी और उसमें बोलिए कि नहीं भाई यही करना है मुझे जिंदगी भर. तुमने और कोई चीज ट्राई करी नहीं. You never gave yourself a chance to try different things, and you never gave yourself and your capabilities to be experimented on something where you might actually do really, really very well. So the first elementary step for you would be to experiment as much as you possibly can. See the vast variety of options and experiment in it so that you know कि हाँ भैया यहाँ मेरा interest नहीं lie करता है. Eliminate the options out. Eliminate the options where you're not doing good at all, or where you're not churning any bit of happiness. So experiment as much as you possibly can.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, how can empaths deal with narcissistic people?
That's a beautiful question. Can you please repeat it for me, if I heard it right?
Yes, sir. It's like, how can empaths deal with narcissistic people?
Okay, so what would this be asked in perspective of? Like, would this be asked in perspective of our consumer or we as the producer? That's something that I want to know, because both of them would have very different answers.
Adil, maybe you can elaborate on your question a bit.
All right.
I'll
See,
take up the next. Okay. Yes, sir.
Sure.
Go
No, see, not a problem. I'd love. This is a beautiful question. I'd love to elaborate on it. See, it's when people, it's very difficult to find people who are on the same page with you. It's very difficult to find people who will, support you constantly, or, be there with you and resonate with the frequency or resonate with the kind of dreams that you have. So in those situations, the only and elementary thing that you need to do is just understand your purpose in the first place. Ask yourself why you started it. And that is how your impact would create a change in the eyes and in the minds of the narcissistic people who believe कि यार नहीं वही है इस दुनिया में जो है. The people who believe that it is very okay and very very normal and very cool for them to go and hate on other people and tell them that they're not meant to do what they're doing. In those situations, if at all you're supposed to do something, the best possible reply to them would be this voice of your success, the replies of your success. You don't have to go up to them and justify what you're doing. Let your work do that for you. So yes, impact definitely has a huge impact, huge change of perspective and mindset in the minds of the narcissistic people. Your work does.
Okay, so I'm jumping to one question, which is personally something that I would also want to know.
Huh.
How did you know that you want to become a motivational speaker?
I am not a motivational speaker. Yeah, please don't categorize me into that. Jesus Christ, I'm just 22 years old. Saying that makes me feel like I'm what 30, 35. तुमने अभी से बुड्ढा बना दिया यार मुझे. ऐसे कैसे मत करोगे. मैं स्मार्ट नहीं लग रहा हूँ तुम लोगों को बिल्कुल भी. But anyway, see, my decision, I've always wanted to tell stories. I've loved being called a storyteller. Ever since school, I've loved telling stories, be it in the form of music, be it in the form of art, be it in the form of these debates. Every bit of what I do, even the videos or the films that I create today, I just want to speak out my message. I've grown up an introvert in high school. I found it very, very difficult to strike conversations, to talk to people. I found myself in very uncomfortable situations while talking to people. So I never, I was like, yeah, I'll do whatever possible, but I'll escape these situations where I'd want to have conversations with people. And art came as the best possible escape for me. Music came as the best possible escape for me. Videos, films. When I'd see my name pop on the stage and people giving me all the applaud and attention for it, I'd like, yaar, mujhe ye karna hai. I'm not having to speak, yet people are getting my message. So that was what art did for me. That was how speaking eventually came to my life. Speaking के तब भगवान ने बोला कि सुन तू कहाँ indirectly ये चीजों को ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रहा है. बोल ले जो तेरे दिमाग में आ रहा है, दिल में आ रहा है. तेरे को एक बंदे को नहीं बोलना, तू 1000 को बोल. तेरे को बंदों को देखने से डर लगता है, तू लाइट को देख. सिंपल. जज करने दे, क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है.
Right. So the next question is, as students, we might look at others and feel like we aren't really good like the others, and then put us through a lot of pressure and run after things. How do we get through this phase?
Lovely question. See, as I said, as I answered about self-doubt as well. This is I've made an entire bloody speech on this topic, man. Anyway, self doubt वाला phase बहुत funny होता है यार अपना. ठीक है, like we tend to doubt every sure thing in our lives in those phases. जो भी होता है ना, अपनी लाइफ में कुछ पक्का भी चल रहा होता है एकदम ऐसा कि यार ये तो श्योर है कि ये अच्छा जाएगा, उसको भी हम डाउट कर लेते हैं. उस चीज को भी हम डाउट कर लेते हैं. वो वक्त इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होता है. बट this is what I tell to people, that if at all you're going through a self-doubt phase, it is because you're growing or because you want to grow. किसी वेले इंसान के दिमाग में कभी सेल्फ डाउट नहीं आएगा कि हाँ भैया जिसके पापा उसको रोज रात को बोलते कि ये ले बेटा 5,000 रुपए जा पार्टी कर, उसके दिमाग में कभी नहीं आएगा सेल्फ डाउट. उसका क्या है भाई, रोज का पार्टी चल रहा है, उसको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है. उसको जीके भी जाना है रात को, उसको हो जाएगा भैया, उसका पार्टी का उसका पूरा सीन सॉर्ट हो जाएगा. He has no self-doubt whatsoever. He's nothing to worry about in this world. But if at all you're going through a self-doubt, that is because you want to grow. That is because you know that something in my life is not right. That is because you know that you're seeing people around yourself and you're being like, yaar, wo log kar rahe hain, main kyun nahi kar pa raha hu? And that is the right phase to ask yourself those questions as well. As I said, when things are going right, you won't ever question yourself. जब डाउट वाला फेज नहीं होगा ना, तब कोई अपने आप को क्वेश्चन नहीं करेगा. तब बोलेंगे कि हाँ यार चल रहा है ना, चलने दो. मैं अगर क्वेश्चन करूंगा तो मैं इस चीज को रोकूंगा. अपने आप को रोकने की जरूरत नहीं है उस सिचुएशन में. उड़ता तीर कोई पसंद नहीं करता ना कि तीर उड़ रहा है, उसको उड़ने दो. फिलहाल अभी इन दिस सिचुएशन ऑफ अ सेल्फ डाउट, दिस इज योर अपॉर्चुनिटी टू क्वेश्चन योरसेल्फ, टू इंट्रोस्पेक्ट, टू रिट्रोस्पेक्ट, सी वेयर यूर गोइंग रॉन्ग, हाउ कुड यू मेक इट राइट. Those are the questions that are very elementary and very fundamental for you to ask yourself in the case of a self-doubt wala phase. Don't treat it to be one phase where you can say stay stuck. Treat it to be one phase which is there to make you learn, which is there to make you grow. That is what self-doubt does. अपने आप खुद से पूछो यार, like every time you've come out of a self-doubt wala phase, you've come out bigger, better and stronger. So treat it to be like that phase.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, how do you manage so much at the same time and give time to yourself as well? How to manage between your career and your personal life?
See, it's very simple. Like I don't delegate responsibilities to my brain. If at all I know that I have to do something, I write it down. I am very old school in this case. मैं रात को सोने से पहले मेरी ट्रिक्स तो सुन लोगे ना तुम लोग, तुम बोलोगे कि क्या एकदम ही बच्चा है ये तो भाई, 22 साल का तो बोलता है 10 साल का बच्चा है ये. मैं before sleeping every day, I make a list, a to-do list of all the things that I'm supposed to do the other day. And before sleeping the same day, I टिक मार्क एवरी बिट ऑफ इट, जिससे मेरे को अंदर से साइकोलॉजिकल एक्सेप्टेंस मिले कि भाई आज मेरा दिन अच्छा गया है. एंड इट्स वेरी एलिमेंटरी. ठीक है, लाइक दिस माइट साउंड वेरी स्टूपिड बट द मैजिक इट डज इज enormous. It gives me a sense of fulfillment at the end of the day and tells me कि यार आज का दिन बढ़िया था. And when I know what I'm going to do tomorrow as well, I sleep with a sense of satisfaction. So coming back to your question, yes, I don't delegate any bit of it to my brain. If at all I know, because yeah, like I have a vast variety of work that I have to cover during the entire day. So in order to cover every bit of it, I ensure that I'm planning every bit of it as well. I make sure that before going to sleep, I have the plan for the other day all sorted.
Okay, sir. So coming up next is, what if mistakes of the past are spoiling the present?
You're letting them spoil your present. You can either learn from them and allow them to make your present, or you can either let them spoil your present. Simple. I don't know why I love going back to relationships, man. I'm not this human who goes back to relationships. But anyway, imagine a relationship. Imagine a very bad and an ugly breakup. I go back to relationships because it's very easy to connect. Ye Indian janta hai. But anyway, yes, coming back to it. Imagine yourself having gone through a very, very bad breakup. Now, 3 years down the line, you could either say कि यार मैं अब और किसी रिलेशनशिप में नहीं आ सकता या नहीं आ सकती क्योंकि मेरा दिल बहुत बुरी तरह का टूट चुका है. और यू कुड से कि नाउ आई नो व्हाट टू लुक फॉर इन अ मैन और इन अ वुमन. I have been through that stage. I have seen what it is like to be in that stage. Now I know what I'm looking for. This is or isn't what I'm looking for. Perspective सिर्फ नजरिए की बात होती है. So the past can either break you or build you. And this is in your power to control.
Okay, so the next question is, sir, you said do not worry about the future, but then we are human. And since there are so many uncertainties and what we do will impact our future, how can we not worry about it?
The very fact that you've mentioned uncertainty is the answer to your question as well. You don't know what's happening in the future. Whatever amount of time you'd be investing right now would actually be going to waste. I'm not saying, as I said in the monologue as well, it's not that you don't need to have goals. It's not that you don't need to have dreams, but only up to an extent that they don't become hurdles between you and the actions that you need to take in the present. हम लोग अगर आगे के बारे में सोचते इतना जाएंगे ना, we won't be able to execute in the present and make the choices which will actually shape our future. So the very fact that the future is uncertain gives us the answer that it's not supposed to be spent so much time to think about right now. आराम से टाइम इन्वेस्ट करो. अभी तो किसी को नहीं पता यार. अभी बैठ रहो सब लोग, एक साल घर पे बैठ रहे हो, वेकेशन चल रहा है, ऑफिशियल वेकेशन चल रहा है, मस्ती करो, बैकलॉग्स क्लियर करो.
Yes, sir. So the next question is, how to deal with imposter syndrome and procrastination even when you are going when you know you are going right, avoid self-doubt and people's perspective.
I'm going to cut to the chase and get to procrastination, because this is something that I personally have had a lot of problems with in my life as well. I used to be the one. I I'll tell you what, yeah, I'll tell you guys. I've been in a phase where I started advocating procrastination. इतना मैं उस फेज में चले गया था. I was like कि नहीं, procrastination सही है. Procrastination से मुझे ideas आ रहे हैं. कुछ ideas नहीं आते थे. I legit used to just sit and waste my time all day. So, the only thing that helped me come back in that phase was me reminding myself of the ultimate purpose. 2020 literally changed it all for me. When I saw my surroundings having so many issues with finances, I was like, "Ki, bhai, if at all you're not taking steps right now to shape your future, you're literally lagging behind. And if the virus is here, it is here to stay. You never know what's coming tomorrow." So it was in that phase where I realized what my ultimate purpose really is, where I really need to go in my life, and what is procrastinating really helping me with. Is procrastinating helping me with coming with ideas? No, it's not at all. It's just helping me relax and get a little bit of extra sleep. I could do that. I could do that after I get done with my work as well. So, the only answer to procrastination I have is build discipline around yourself. And when I say discipline, it's not waking up 5 a.m. in the morning and doing strenuous exercise. No, not at all. Being disciplined is just loving yourself the right way, if you see it from that perspective. Simple सा example देता हूँ यहाँ पे. If you're going to the gym every single day, and if you're coming back and eating pizza, and you're saying कि I'm in the process of loving myself, no. If you're doing a very important project and you're watching 6 hours of Netflix in a day, and you're saying that I'm loving myself, no, you're not loving yourself. You're not in the phase of self-love, you're in the phase of self-destruction. As there's a very thin line of difference between self-love and self-destruction, and it is the choices that you make that defines it. So discipline is nothing but self-love.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I'll quickly take up 2 to 3 more questions due
Sure.
to the schedule. So, how to deal with unproductivity or some unproductive days, especially in times where you can see other people accomplishing things and continuously updating that on social media?
देखो, सबसे पहली चीज, किसी दिन अनप्रोडक्टिव फील हो रहा है, बंद कर दो सबसे पहले तो भाई सोशल मीडिया इतनी खराब चीज है ना भाई जिंदगी में, कसम से. अनप्रोडक्टिव दिन चल रहा है, अनप्रोडक्टिव होने दो. इतना अनप्रोडक्टिव कर दो कि तुम्हें खुद से गिल्ट हो जाए कि भाई मैंने तो क्या गलत ही दिन वेस्ट कर दिया भाई पूरा. ऐसा हो जाए एकदम सिस्टम पूरा तुम्हारा. ठीक है, तुम सुबह उठो, तुम्हारा काम करने का मन नहीं हो रहा, तुम बोलो कि मैं काम करूंगा ही नहीं, मैं पूरा दिन सिर्फ सोऊंगा. बोल दो अपने आप को कि ना, आज तो मैं कुछ नहीं कर रहा. अपने आप को गिव योरसेल्फ एन एंटायर डे सो दैट यू डोंट हैव एनी एक्सक्यूज लेफ्ट फॉर द अदर डे. But in that process of you taking an entire day for yourself, do not touch the social media. Because right now, as humans, it's very easy for us to chase social acceptance. Whatever is going on the social media, we accept it for ourselves, be it the opinions on the social media, be it what is going on with other people's life. It is very easy for us to compare ourselves, our opinions, our lives with what is out there on the social media. And as a creator myself on the social media, I'll advocate this. सब कुछ फेक है. सब कुछ फेक है सोशल मीडिया में. कुछ किसी के पास कोई गाड़ी नहीं है, सब रेंटेड है. जो सब रोलेक्स दिखाने वाले हैं, सब भाड़े पे रेंट लिए उन लोगों ने. कुछ नहीं, कोई असली चीज नहीं है. जो यहाँ घूमने जा रहे हैं, कुछ नहीं है. वो फ्लैशी ऐसे बीचेस दिखा देंगे. रात को उनके पास रहने का हॉस्टल का 500 रुपए नहीं है, वो 500 रुपए भी वो इधर उधर उड़ा रहे हैं. This is the actual truth. All you need to know about this social media world is that इतना toxic हो चुका है इसमें that it becomes very difficult for us to find ourselves and where we fit in this world. So if at all you want to take a day off, switch your phone off for an entire day. Take a day off. Don't give yourself even one excuse. Do whatever your mind tells you to do. 6 घंटे नेटफ्लिक्स देखना है, 6 घंटा नेटफ्लिक्स देखो मस्त. फुल पिज्जा खाना है बैठ के घर पे, फुल पिज्जा खाओ. बट don't leave yourself with a single excuse for the other day. If at all you're feeling unproductive, take it to the absolute extreme and then come back.
Okay, sir. So 2 more questions. Could you please summarize your journey so far in a single line or any key takeaways from what has happened so far?
It's true if you believe. Seriously, I'm like the very fact that I started my journey in 2017, and it was absolutely, the very fact, whenever I look back at the Paritosh Anand from 2017, it gives me a sense of confidence for me to have gone through every bit of what I've been through. And that gives me the strength that I have today. So yes, it's true. It's true if you believe.
Okay. What was one of the best memories of yours while traveling that made you choose this path? If that was traveling that made you choose this.
Hmm. Traveling didn't actually made me choose this part, but okay, I've had quite a quite a few very beautiful memories while traveling. But it'll be very subjective to this one particular moment. I might have one memory which is very close to me right now, which might become, which might interchange with or replace itself with another memory 15 minutes down the line. But yes, traveling does tend to give you a lot of beautiful memories. It does tend to change you as a person as well. I'm pretty sure the ones who've traveled, the ones who've gotten out of their houses, the ones who are actually living independently as well, they know what it is to be out there and to learn and grow in this independent atmosphere. So yes, traveling does tend to give you that.
Okay, sir. So the last one.
Yes.
What do you do when you have outgrown your friends and do not want to hang out with them, but you know that they love you and care for you? How do you deal with this guilt?
You don't deal with this kind of situation. See, especially first up, you can never outgrow a friend. If at all that friend was there for you when you needed them the most, you have to be there for them. If at all you know for a fact that this person was there when I was at zero, you have to stand up for them as well. Even if that person is not matching or resonating with the kind of frequencies that you're emitting right now, it is okay. You don't need to invest 100% of your energy to him or her. But in that situation, you cannot just run away from that situation. That person poured his or her heart and soul into shaping the man or the woman you are today. He put his heart or soul into shaping and driving your perspective in the right direction, if that was the case. If not, obviously, you always have the open doors to walk out. But if that was the case, preserve that relation. You don't have to put your 100% energy into it, but just preserve that relation. Obviously, build new ones, expand your network so that and you're vibing with the right people as well. Surrounding yourself with the right people is an absolute necessity, because it's the wholesome of 5 people that drive your perspective. जो तुम्हारे दिमाग में चल रहा है, that is the wholesome average of what the 5 people around yourself are really like. So surround yourself with the right people. But having said that, the people who really helped you reach where you are today, don't let go of them. Preserve that relationship. Do not put your 100% into it, because obviously you've outgrown them right now. But preserve those relationships.
Okay,
I hope
sir.
I answered the question. If at all there'd be rebuttals, I'd be more than comfortable answering them for you.
I think that there's just one question which seems very, very important to the person asking it.
Sure.
How to deal with parents who are not able to understand you and impose what their aspirations are on you?
This is a beautiful question, one that I relate to on a spiritual level. पर अब सुनना आराम से, ठीक है? इसको देखो, जब मैं गया था ना अपने घर वालों को बताने कि मम्मा मुझे YouTube करना है, मम्मा ने पता है बोला क्या कि YouTube क्या है? What that made me realize in that situation was that the majority of the times when we go to our parents and tell them about our passions, they're unaware of it. And the very fact that they're unaware, they become scared. All they want for you is a stable and a secure life. They want you to be happy. And once they see that their own child is going into a very unknown atmosphere, they become a little skeptical. And that is why they tend to superimpose their perspective on you, telling you what they are aware of. ठीक है, उनके हिसाब से गवर्नमेंट जॉब एकदम यहाँ है भाई, पता नहीं कैसे गवर्नमेंट जॉब अगर तू कर लेगा तेरी लाइफ सॉर्टेड एकदम भाई, तू जिंदगी भर खुश. उनके लिए ये है, which is actually true for them as well, because that is what has shaped their perspective in the entire way. अब हम टिड्डे टिड्डे 20 साल के, उनका ये पर्सपेक्टिव चल रहा है 40 साल से. क्या लगता है तुम लोग कि तुम चेंज कर लोगे 1-2 दिन में? नहीं हो सकता. You cannot change their perspective. All you can do is try to explain them how. यहाँ पे थोड़ा इमोशनल क्वेश्चन लाओ ना, थोड़ा भी यूज करो अपना. सोशल मीडिया में इतना देख लिया नेटफ्लिक्स, थोड़ा यूज करो, अब अपना इमोशनल क्वेश्चन यूज करो. Try to explain them how you'll be happy doing what you want to do. It is okay if they're not aware about what you want to do in your life. But tell them how you'll be happy doing it. And tell them that only when you are happy doing it, only when you're truly happy doing it, will you be able to cater to the happiness of your family, of your probable future relationships, and every bit of the people around yourself as well. That is the true case. You don't need to go against your parents. Just tell them to slide into your boat. Aram se.
Okay, so coming to the end of our first speaker session on the second day of Business Concept KNC, I would just like to deliver a vote of thanks to you, sir, because I was personally very eagerly looking forward to this session, and I am really proud and elated to announce that it was a great honor for us to have you today
Wow.
as our esteemed speaker, because I don't know, it just seems really relevant, someone your age coming and talking to you, and on an entirely different level where you can connect like extremely well. So I am sure that we cannot deny that your presence was truly vital for making this event as successful as it is today, and it stands right now. So it was an honor for us to host you, and I'm sure that the crowd will be taking a bunch of insights from this session. A big thanks to you and for the audience for being so patient.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was an honor myself. Thank you so much. Always an honor. I'm hoping to see you all very soon offline. अभी हो गया यार, ये बहुत ऑनलाइन के चंचे हो गया. ऑफलाइन करो.
Yes,
बोलो तो बोलो कोविड हो गया अभी. बोलो चलो ऑफलाइन बुलाओ मुझे. ठीक है? चलो.
yes.
Take care. Have a beautiful day, all, and
Okay, sir.
you all of you all are looking absolutely gorgeous. Have a
Yeah,
beautiful.
on that note, let's just turn on our cameras and we'd like to take a picture, please.
अरे वाह, तुम लोग और गिल्ट दे दो मुझे भाई. मैं नहीं, अगले बार से मैं देखना कोट पैंट पहन के आऊंगा. बहुत.
That's okay,
तुम
sir.
लोग
You suit the theme. Like,
केन
we are in white, you're in black. That's cool.
रुको, मैं अभी ऑफिशियल कंप्लेंट करूंगा अभी मैं सोशल मीडिया पे. ऐसे नहीं चलता यार.
Okay, someone from the organizing team, please take a picture.
Yeah, we did. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
Nandini.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a beautiful day, all.
you, sir.
Take care.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.